Welcome to the Tech Diva Success podcast. This is a short weekly podcast that focuses on tools, processes, and best practices that truly fuel success for women in technology. We thank you for tuning in, and we hope you walk away with at least one best practice that will help you level up personally or professionally. What can you take action on that will make you 1% better? This show gives us space to grow that amazing potential you have inside of you by bringing you guests from all walks of life and allowing them to share their success secrets with you. I'm your host, Nicole Scheffler, and I consider myself a tech diva with over 15 years experience in a technology career. And I'm committed to sparking tech diva success with my collection of various books, podcasts, and projects, including our other podcast, the Diva Tech Talk podcast, which is all here to inspire you and is dedicated to women in technology. I know you're going to love it, so on with the show. I am so excited to be here today with Chitra Madhwacharyula, and she is a global customer success and strategic alliance leader. She's currently at Jovio, which leads in recruitment ad tech, but she has over 20 years professional experience in consulting with a global footprint. And I would consider her a trusted advisor to many strategic customers in several different verticals, from manufacturing to retail to recruitment and high tech. Can't wait for her to share her passion today about the power of perspective and the power of diversity. But she really loves doing that by day in her role with bringing the right knowledge and tools for solving business problems to set customers up for success, which I love as well. So I think we share that in common. And she is going to be really sharing some great things about taking her global experiences and all her knowledge and connecting the dots to stand out. And I'm happy to have you on the show.
Very happy to be here, Nicole. Thank you so much.
If you want to share anything else about yourself, I just want to welcome you.
Absolutely. So like you mentioned, I'm right now the head of global customer success and services at Jovio. And Jovio is a global leader in programmatic recruitment and in the ad tech space. I have more than 18 years of experience in consulting, customer success, and information management. I hold a master's degree in computer science from the National University of Singapore and a master's degree in information management from the University of California at Berkeley.
Very educated and powerful woman. So we're glad to have you here. And I know you're going to share some success tips for our audience and our listeners out there. And let's go ahead and just dive right in.
Sure, absolutely. So, really the topic that we are talking about in this series is really very dear to my heart and something that I strongly believe helped lead me to success on multiple fronts in my career. So thanks again for giving me an opportunity to talk about it. So I'm passionate about empowering customers with the right knowledge and tools for solving their business problems and to set them up for success. I believe that building trust and credibility and having high integrity are key to be successful in any field, but especially so in customer-facing fields. So having lived, studied, and worked in 3 different countries, US, Singapore, and India, and having worked extensively with a global clientele employee base in the Americas, in EMEA, and in Asia, I truly appreciate and highly value my exposure to different cultures and people. These experiences of interacting with not only a diverse client pool, but also spanning different business domains has teed me up perfectly to look at the big picture, understand the unsaid, and connect the dots to address the situation on hand, which lets me set my clients and by association myself up for success.
Well, it sounds like you have an amazing professional portfolio there. But how do you consider the diversity of all this different experience you have helpful? What's some best practices there that you can translate from your global experience to help our listeners?
That's a great question. And I can actually get started by talking about my personal experiences and how having a diverse perspective has really helped me in my career and also enrich my personal life, by the way. So in a few different ways, essentially. Firstly, it helps me hit the ground running very, very quickly in my client engagements. When I was working as a customer success consultant, in many cases, I used to work with a different client every 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the type of engagement. It could be in a different region, could be a totally different business domain, and so on and so forth. And the domains, like I said, could vary from being banking firms in some cases to casinos, to retail stores, to high-tech companies, to pharmaceutical companies, you name it. They've all been my customers. So some people might actually think that to be a disadvantage versus staying in the same domain your whole life and becoming an expert. And while I agree that has its own advantages, I personally consider my varied experiences to be enriching and to be a differentiator for me, since it allows me to apply my learnings across domains and identify common patterns and themes, which, by the way, I have successfully applied multiple times to not only provide creative solutions to my customers, but also to extrapolate some of these learnings to create package service offerings by using my company's products, and which I have applied across most of the companies that I have worked for, and which in most cases have been hugely successful. Secondly, it has given me a truly global perspective of how people engage and conduct business in different places, which comes in very handy when working with people from those cultures. So let me give you a couple of examples. I was once slated to attend a critical customer meeting in an Asian country. So the sales rep of that country was besides himself that I was going instead of my boss, who was originally scheduled to go. And honestly, just looking at his reaction, I was mystified, and so was my manager. Like, both of us didn't understand what was going on, because I had a very good name in the company for being an expert, and I was a leader. Slowly, it came out that the hesitation was because culturally, women in that country do not carry the same clout as leaders as men. And our sales rep, or the head of sales, as he was at that time, was worried that my representation of the company would hurt his case more than help. And actually, thinking back, I was the only woman in that leadership role in that room, in the room there, which was full of men. So anyways, my manager was firm that if anybody goes, it would be me. So I landed and basically led the conversations from our side, and things ended on a highly successful note. And at the end of the meeting, there was a ceremony where a vote of thanks is given by the representatives of both the companies. And when the time came for my company to do it, I asked our sales rep there if he wanted to say a few words on our company's behalf. And he basically looked at me and said, "You do it." And that for me was a testament that we had come a long way from where we were just a few hours ago, where I was pretty much persona non grata. And side note, the customer basically signed the deal before I was back in US. My whole experience working with the rep in that country, working with the customers in that country, was eye-opening and has helped me greatly when working with other customers from the same region, because now I actually understand where they're coming from when they have certain hesitancies, and I'm better able to address those concerns better, and in the process set them and myself up for success. Another time, I was in a Scandinavian country visiting a client, and it was a very interesting work experience. Now there, the work culture is a lot more laid back compared to US. And the office that we were in used to shut down promptly at the end of the workday around, I believe, 4:35 p.m. And it was interesting and also eye-opening for myself and my colleagues from US who were there in a competitive situation. And we were there just for a week, and we really wanted to spend all hours of day and night in the client's office to get our work done. However, we realized very, very quickly that that kind of attitude would work against us. If we forced our clients to end their day late because of us, it will not be taken well. And, that is something that our clients will not appreciate. So we very quickly, within a matter of a day, actually adapted to the working styles there. As a result, I had more time to do sightseeing, more time to basically check out the restaurants, and our clients were very nice to give us some really good recommendations about what to do during our off hours. At the end of the week, we actually finished all our deliverables, and the customer was happy, and we actually got some time to enjoy and learn about the city and the locals. It was, educational again, because very different working styles from what we are used to in US. And it also made me realize that the quality of output and outcomes does not necessarily equate to the hours of work if you plan right and if you work smart. Yeah.
We could just say that again. I love that nugget. I just had to stop you there. It's about everything. It's about the relationships. It's about working smart. It's about listening to each other and listening to the customer. Carry on. I just love that.
Absolutely. And it's about adapting, right? Adapting very, very quickly, which can be a huge differentiator in the experience that you offer to your customers and in your own success. Last but certainly not the least, every new experience that I had, every new culture that I exposed to has enriched me, not only professionally, but also personally. I think having global exposure and perspective is the best defense against bigotry and insularity. You very, very quickly realize that keeping the politics and the news cycles aside, most ordinary people at their core are good human beings, busy in their day-to-day lives and open to being friendly, especially if you're a guest in their country. You don't realize that till you experience it for yourself. But trust me, having gone through those experiences multiple times, it changes you forever and it changes you for the better. So to summarize, I consider my diverse experiences to be my strength and differentiator because firstly, they help me hit the ground running very, very quickly in my client engagements by being able to connect the dots and leverage my learnings to achieve success quickly. Secondly, my experiences have given me a truly global perspective of how people engage and conduct business in different places, which comes in very handy when working with people from those cultures. And lastly, my experiences have enriched me both professionally and personally, helping me develop a healthy respect for the diversity that exists in this world.
I love how you told those stories about your experience and just sharing how you handled things and how you took advantage of this diversity of cultures in your work environment. And as we kind of come to the end of the episode, we like to leave our listeners with one big takeaway or one summary of what you've said so that they can take your traveled experience, your global experience, and leverage that to be more successful in their own business and in their own lives moving forward. So do you want to kind of wrap it up for us and share one last piece of advice?
Absolutely. My big success tip for the listeners is embrace the power of diversity. Look for global experiences. Leverage those experiences and the knowledge that you gain to connect the dots and stand out. Do not let anyone tell you that you're not an expert because you haven't spent your life in one business domain or company or geographic region. The diversity of your experiences, both personal and professional, will always be your strength and differentiator if you leverage and highlight and use them the right way.
Great. That's so powerful. Just keeping an open mind. And we could take these best practices from your episode and say, okay, how could we enrich global working relationships with customers or even people on our team, and just bridging that gap to understand each other better and to leverage the power of diversity. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. I mean, it's wonderful. Like I said, this topic is really close to my heart, and I strongly believe in the power of diversity. And I loved an opportunity to share my stories with the audience today.
Great. Well, that's what it's all about, is sharing our stories to make everybody better and to make everybody have a different perspective. So it's almost like our diverse perspectives of the show don't necessarily capture every corner of the world, but hopefully every corner of their hearts.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again. And if people want to reach out to you or check out more about your company, what is the best place for them to reach you?
LinkedIn would be the best place. So they should just go and look up my profile there, and I'd be happy to connect with them there. And I'll also answer any questions that they might have about my professional experiences and also my personal opinion about the power of diversity.
Wonderful. And we'll provide that link in the show notes. So again, thank you for supporting our show and for sharing your wisdom. And we just hope you have an amazing day. Thank you. Thank you again for listening, and we really hope this sparks something in you that you can use to manifest more success in your life. Please give us a rating or review. We would love to see how the show has inspired you. You can also connect with Tech Diva Success on Twitter, Insta, and Facebook. We're very easy to find under that name, and we hope this episode was fire for you.